Hey guys. So you can see here on the right, we've got written subject, verb, verb object, adjective, and the noun it describes. And these are sort of parts of speech that always go together. Subjects do verbs. Verbs happen to objects, and adjectives describe nouns. And what you're going to find a lot of times on the SAT and ACT is that they wrongly put a comma between these two items in each pair. So a comma between subject and verb, going to be wrong. There's one caveat. Unless there's a non-essential clause. You could have a non-essential clause between a subject and a verb, a non-essential clause between a verb and an object, and a non-essential clause between the adjective and the noun it describes. But if there's no non-essential clause, then you cannot have a comma between subject and verb, verb and its object, adjective and the noun it describes. So let's show you some questions where this comes up. All right, zooming in here a little bit. So as we look at question 45 here, it says Wang Liu Song, Anna May Wong, had longed to be an actress since she was a child, blah, blah, blah. No change has a comma between the subject, Anna May Wong, and the verb, had longed. So any of the answers like A and D that have that comma, well, let's just say A has that comma between the subject and verb. Going to be wrong. And so as you're doing that question, once you spot that comma between subject and verb, you're going to underline it because it's wrong, unless there's a non-essential clause, which in this case there is not. Show you another question. See what's in here. 52. Such attention to detail in their performances. And you'll notice that G and H both have a comma after performances. And right after it's the verb, landed. So such attention to detail in their performances landed Wong numerous supporting roles. Landed is the verb. Such attention to detail in their performances is a long subject. Got some prepositional phrases in there, but nonetheless, that's the subject. That whole thing, such attention to detail in their performances, landed Wong numerous supporting roles. So it has a comma between the subject and the verb. It's wrong, because there's no non-essential clause there. So in both G and H, they're making that mistake of putting that comma between performances and landed. Let's see what the next one is. All right, 4. The base of the Billy's clock, featuring carvings of, H and J have features, carvings of Prague's town hall. And so H, for example, the base of the Billy's clock features. What's the base of the clock that features? The base of the clock is the subject, features is the verb. Comma between subject and verb. It's wrong. There's no non-essential clause there. So no comma between subject and verb. Verb and its object, or adjective and the noun it describes, unless there's a non-essential clause. Let's find one that's not subject and verb. It's usually subject and verb. 27. Muddy, rutted paths led to tangled vines. Okay, so muddy and rutted, two adjectives, both describing paths. And you could flip their order. Rutted, muddy paths, muddy, rutted paths. You could flip their order. So we're going to put a comma between muddy and rutted. But there should not be a comma between these adjectives and the noun they're describing, between rutted and paths. So in B and C, we would underline that comma between the adjective rutted and the noun it describes, paths. See if we have any verb object ones. Here's a subject verb one. Another subject verb, Bonnie Basso leans over a collection of petri dishes. So no comma between Bonnie Basso and leans. There's no non-essential clause there. Bonnie Basso, the subject, leans the verb. All right, so it's usually subject and verb, as you can see, but you get the idea. This isn't what question 17 has, but just imagine if they had put a comma between offers and visitors, that would be a comma between the verb offers and the object of the verb visitors. No good. Not unless there is a what? Good, you guessed it. Not unless there's a non-essential clause. So to repeat it yet again, no comma between subject and verb and its object, or adjective in the noun it describes unless there is a non-essential clause. So you'll see this a good amount, probably a handful of, a few questions per test. One or two are in the SAT. All right, there you have it. Keep going. You're doing great. Keep it up.